It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM. And welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. And hi, everyone. Welcome once again to 97.5 Glory FM for the Saturday Morning Sports Show. I'm Mike Wofford with you until 10 this morning as we'll look ahead to a lot of going on in high school, college, and pro sports and local scene. And with you until 10, we've got guests lined up ready to join us this morning, but a lot going on. Let's start things off with high school football. Yesterday was the last day of the regular season, starting out the month of November. Now we get ready for November Madness, in a sense, as the high school football state playoffs begin next week in the GIAA and the GAPPS, but also in the GHS. It all begins in 2 weeks on November 15th, and we have several schools from across our local area heading to the state playoffs. Last night in our final game of the regular season, it was North Hall defeating the Dawson County Tigers by a score of 35-3. Also in that region in 6 AAA, Lumpkin County comes from behind in the last couple of minutes as they were victorious over Pickens on the road in Jasper, 29-26, the final in that one. The big win last night, Chestatee gets a win over Greater Atlanta Christian, and the War Eagles are in the state playoffs. You'll hear from Dave Bishop, the athletic director at Chestatee High, in a few minutes here on the 97.5 Glory FM Saturday Morning Sports Show, as he'll join me live here on the phone, and he'll talk about last night's win, 30-20. Chestatee is going to the state playoffs. Also heading to the state playoffs locally in Class Quad A play, you have got Flowery Branch. They won their game last night on the road in Cedar Shows down in Athens, winning 21-7. They're heading to the state playoffs in Class Quad A play. Also from last night, in other games around the area in Class Quad A play, East Forsyth wrapped up a playoff berth. They're heading also to the state playoffs with a 42-14 win over Madison County. Also in Region 8 AAA, it was a wild one finishing up last night as Oconee County defeated Jefferson 32-30 in overtime. And Cherokee Bluff, they double up East Hall 52-26. It was Monroe area, a winner over West Hall last night, 31-21. So the playoffs are set out of Region 8 AAA. Jefferson, Oconee County, and Cherokee Bluff finish at a first-place time. And with a tiebreaker, Jefferson finishes as the number 1 team. Then it will be Cherokee Bluff, the number 2 team, followed by Oconee County, the number 3 team, and Monroe area wraps up the 4 teams that are heading to the state playoffs out of Region 8 AAA. Also last night it was Beaufort with a big win over Mill Creek in Region 8 6A action. Final score on that one was, Beaufort 32 and Mill Creek 7 last night. In Region 8 Quinte play, Jackson County gets a win over Habersham Central. History made for the Panthers. They will play their first ever game at home in the state playoffs coming up on November 15th in the Class Quinte state playoffs. Teams heading to the state playoffs out of Forsyth County in Class 6A play. You'll have Lambert, also West Forsyth, and Denmark heading to the state playoffs as North Atlanta wins that region in 6A play, with the games being played from last night. In Region 8A play, Commerce, their winner over Providence Christian Academy from last night. They're heading to the state playoffs. Elbert County, they hand Rabun County a loss. Worst season in a long time, record-wise, when it comes to the region standings for Rabun County, and we'll see where they fare in the upcoming state playoffs. Only 2 teams out of Region 8 AA are guaranteed to make it to the public school side of Region 8 AA. That'll be Stevens County and Hart County, as last night Providence, it was, in fact, Prince Avenue Christian defeating Hebron Christian. Prince Avenue defeats Hebron Christian for the Region 8 AA championship. Those 2 teams will play in the private side of the state championship, while we'll have just Stevens County and Hart County from 8 AA guaranteed of going to the state playoffs out of that region. Lots to talk about this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. We'll take a first time out on the show. We'll talk next with Dave Bishop, who's the athletic director of Chestatee High School, talk about last night's win, and then getting ready for the state playoffs, as they'll be in the Class AAA state playoffs coming up in 2 weeks on November 15th, as we'll bring you more here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
Your radio station for North Georgia sports, 97.5 Glory FM. On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
If you need to communicate to a lot of people, you need Gainesville Signs and Graphics. They are a full-service sign company. From consultation through construction, they'll handle all aspects of your sign needs. Political signs, banners, magnetics, monuments, subdivision and street signs, as well as vehicle and storefront graphics. So trust your sign needs to Gainesville Signs and Graphics. Check out their website at GainesvilleSignsandGraphics.com or call 770-533-5700.
Hey, we're back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM. We got a live video stream going on our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. You'll see me laughing behind the scenes because it's now 9-11, 9-1-1. I feel like that with a call being made to our friend Dave Bishop, the athletic director at Chestatee High. And celebrating this morning, we say War Eagle. Good morning, David.
Hey, War Eagle, baby.
I love it from that standpoint. This is something that when the season began, friend, realistically, there's no way we thought we'd be talking right now about going to the playoffs, would we?
Well, you always go in as a coach, and while I'm not the coach anymore, but you always go in as a coach, and you try to look at your schedule and say, okay, where can we make dents? And I think Coach did a great job of trying to make those dents. And truth is, there was a lot of positivity in the beginning of the year, but when you start 1-4, you start, okay, how do we get people on? How do we regroup and get our kids where we need them to be?
And you did there, winning, 4 of the last 5 games?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a testament to our coaches and our kids because they just adhered to the process and the beliefs that we're instilling in this program.
So tell me about the growth of this program. If you may have heard game plan, I was talking to Coach Stuart Cunningham. And in a sense, you've been there, done this. I compare it in a sense to what Bob Christmas did at North Hall, trying to build a program at North Hall back in 2001 and 2002 after they'd went winless in 2000. And then they were looking at going winless in 2001 under Coach Christmas's first year, but 9/11 took place to win that dramatic game to end that season. And then going into momentum there in 2002 for Coach Cunningham, you could see some momentum from game one, couldn't you?
Yeah, and there was so many positives, and it's just when you try to build everything off of hard work, discipline, and just doing things with character, and every day you keep preaching the same message, it starts to hit home. And that was something that Coach has done. And the truth be known, our kids have, over time, you can see them just week by week get better and truly believe in the process of which Coach is installing here.
You've heard when you were at North Hall, you saw the stories that happened the prior regime there at Chestatee High, and it was difficult for the football players especially to understand what winning meant, and if they got behind, they could still win a game. And that's happened with Chestatee now, is that even though you get behind, you can still end up winning a ball game if you just keep the process going.
That's right. And there's been a couple times where we have come from behind or gotten down and fought back and proved that you could do it when you are behind. And again, just a pat on the back for Coach. He's gone through a lot of hard things these past year and a half to get these kids to where they are, but I'm excited for him and our community as well.
I tell you, I already told him he's my coach of the year. There's no doubt about it that Stuart Cunningham is the coach of the year at Chestatee High. And on top of that, beating a school that everybody thought would be the number one team in this region this year, and they had a down year to say the least with Greater Atlanta Christian, and now you go in as a number 3 seed in the tournament. Tell me about your duties as athletic director, just getting the logistics down now to get ready to go into the state playoffs on November the 15th, because right now you don't know where you're going, what kind of accommodations you need to make, and transportation, that kind of thing. There's a lot going on for you getting ready for this thing.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is right now is just look at the top 16 teams, because we don't know where, the old system of being a 3 seed doesn't really matter anymore, because when you're 3, 4, or at large, you're placed in that pile by your postseason rankings. And until everybody's wins and losses are put in there, you just really don't know where you're going to flesh, where it's going to flesh out. So you just start looking at who's 1 through 16 and who more than likely you may match up with, and there's going to be probably 6 to 8 teams. So you just kind of look at it. The hard part to me is what coach is going to do for practice this week, because what do you practice for? So the only thing you can do is practice to get better at the things that maybe you've struggled with. And so, for me as an AD, it's just having fun, enjoying things. I know last night a lot of our student section was like, Coach, if we got to travel, can you get us a bus? Man, we want to be a part of this. And so there's the other part of that is going to be kind of fun.
Because you don't know if you're going to Peach County, you don't know if you're going to Jefferson, you don't know if you're going, name a team, and it could be anywhere.
Correct. And just being able to, get that win last night, I know that does give us a pretty good bump. But again, I was looking this morning, there's still half the teams, or more than half the teams, haven't even put in scores yet, which is understandable considering the time at which games get over.
Can you imagine the Augusta schools, Dave, when it comes to having to play 3 games in 8 days?
No, I could not. I mean, last night they played a game. They're probably going to have to play a game on Tuesday and then have another game on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, they're going to play Saturday. And that's why nobody's going to know who we're going to play, and probably still Sunday. And here we'll find out Monday morning.
Correct. And so there's going to be a lot of – the good thing is the amount of technology that's now involved in the football programs. You can make a few phone calls and you'll have all the videotape and everything else you need within an hour versus the old days where you'd have to drive 4 hours and go meet somewhere and trade a few tapes.
Remember those days, as we're talking to Dave Bishop, the athletic director at Chestatee High, on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. So from that standpoint, when it comes to getting ready for this, tell me your idea right now. You always want to win and lose on the field. Does this process, you think, does it work that way?
I think there's a piece of that for sure. And we talked a little bit last night. We just enjoy each other's company because we were all together for so long. And those were some of the comments we made. Okay, how do we go about the next piece? And how do we also go about what practice looks like next week? And, so I know that they're going to give the coaches off tomorrow. They need a break.
Yes.
And then they're going to kind of put in place, okay, here's what we got to do. We used to use an old mindset of what are the top 3 things that we got to get better at on offensive line, running backs, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they're probably going to incorporate a lot of that over the next week, getting ready for, game time.
All right, so you're going to call me next Sunday, right? Just let me know, send me a text message, let me know who you're going to be playing there on the field team.
As soon as we know, you'll know.
All right, so 2 final things for you, buddy, is that you had a meeting this past week, a couple of days ago, in fact, for the FCA East-West All-Star game. So you're going to have some players involved in that, right?
Well, that was Coach Cunningham, and to be honest with you, it's been such a busy week with senior night and everything else. We haven't even regrouped to even talk about it.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'll have some kids there. Yeah,
it comes up on Thursday, December 12th at East Hall, and we'll be there to broadcast the game as always to that standpoint, and that's always a special time. Talk about your seniors real quick. You've seen them as you came to Chestatee High, and then was Coach Cunningham already hired when you got there, about these seniors, the importance of their contribution, make this a team that goes to the playoffs.
Well, we can go back to what you mentioned before. I look at and I compare it to when we got to North Hall. That group of seniors, they didn't have a whole lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
They walked through the hallways, and during those time periods, maybe they, heard a lot of things that were hurtful because, let's just be honest. Oh, you guys can't win, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And to see them transform, to see them become the people in the hallways that have a positive message, to see them lead their teammates. I mean, I heard some stories last night about their reactions to some situations that were amazing, which this time last year that would have never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So just the maturation process, the building of relationships that you see, their love for their coaches in just a short amount of time, and their attachment to chastity and their ability to be proud of what they're doing is phenomenal.
Let's talk values for a moment, buddy, because it's more than just wins and losses, and that's what you're trying to instill there at Chastity High. Tell our listeners about even when you got to North Hall. I'm sure there's some men now that you coached back in the day, and Coach Chris was coaching, that see you now, and you see how football changed their lives in a sense, but just what it could do for young men.
Oh, absolutely. The funny thing was I got a text message this morning from one of our seniors from 01 saying congratulations, so proud and happy for you guys. So, I mean, that's just funny that we're talking about that happened this morning.
How about
so
that?
You build those relationships, and you just try to pour into the kids. This year our athletic program, I try to use one word, and this year our word is actually impact. What are we doing to be intentional to impact and change the lives of these kids, or make an impact to help them, give them something that will make a difference and help them become a better dad, to become a better husband, to become a better employee, or whatever it might be.
And for you got basketball coming up too, real quickly, friend. You know it?
Oh, listen, and it's great because I think we all know that football, no disrespect to any other program, but football tends to set the tone for your whole season,
mm-hmm.
for your whole school year.
Sure
And this was awesome to see the kids of our school out there on the field celebrating after the game with big smiles and hugs to coaches, hugs to each other. That's what high school athletics is about.
And I'm sure it's going to spread over. I'm looking forward to seeing Alan Griffin and Sutton Shirley here in a few weeks, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Dave Bishop, joining us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Congratulations. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you.
Again, War Eagle. That's the tone this morning here we're going to bring to you here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show. We got much more for you coming up next.
Innovation at Jackson EMC.
To me, innovation is taking technology and doing something new with it.
I'm working with a global company. We're helping them be able to reduce their carbon footprint through some of our programs.
Here at Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation, such as solar power, electric vehicle programs, energy-efficient right choice homes. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
This is Nat Nick, president of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
It's flu season in North Georgia, and now is the time to take care of yourself and get your flu shot at Riverside Pharmacy. Nobody wants to be hit with the flu bug, but if you haven't had your shot yet and you've been bitten with the flu, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy in Gainesville can help you too. They can fill your prescription with expert care and have you up and going before you know it. And they're your headquarters for all of your over-the-counter needs. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Around 9:25 now here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll wrap up the first half hour of the program this morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show talking high school basketball. We start our coverage of high school basketball a week from Tuesday on November 12th, as we'll be at North Hall High School to bring you the big matchup between East Hall and North Hall. And joins us this morning is Athletic Director at East Hall High School, Adam Rich. Not only talk about it, but also about a very special event coming up tomorrow. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Mike. How are you doing?
Great, sir. How are you? First off, college football day. So I got his area code phone number. Is not from this area. He's told me he's from the Tallahassee area. So a Florida State fan, right?
I am. It's not been the best year, but we got to still be a fan whether we're up or down.
So they playing today?
We have UNC today.
Okay, that's a winnable ball game, maybe.
At this point, I don't know.
All right, so
but I will still keep cheering.
So that's the point. Are you for Georgia or Florida today?
Oh, absolutely. Go Dogs in today.
Thank you
there's
very
no
much.
doubt about it.
They're
playing my rival, so I can't root for them.
So talk about this big event taking place tomorrow, something that we want everybody to know about. This is something that I love, the fact that the Hall County School District is naming something after someone who's still alive. So talk about it.
Well, we have had the grace of having a living legend coach at our high school and won 6 state championships, and that's Coach Seth Vining. And it's actually something that when I took over as AD, I wanted to get started, and the community obviously backed it, and we wanted to name our gym after Coach Vining because, if there's a man that exemplifies what it means to be a Viking, it's Coach Vining.
Amen.
Coach Vining came in as a baseball coach, which most people don't realize that.
Yep.
And then he also ran our softball program. But obviously what Coach Vining's known for is his state titles with girls basketball, and then obviously slipping over to the boys basketball team and winning 2 state titles with them. And I'll be honest, Coach Vining's still a part of our community. You can see him in our gym watching our games. He comes out and supports us any way we can if we need anything. And you can still see him in gyms coaching youth teams. So he is very active, and if there's a man that needs to be honored in our community and represents everything we are, it's Coach Vining, and we're so excited to have the community come out tomorrow. So tomorrow at about 2 o'clock in our theater, we will have a small ceremony in which we will have some of his former players from both the girls and boys teams and some of the community members speak on his behalf, and then we will shortly after that ceremony, we'll walk outside the gym and officially name our gym the Seth Vining Gymnasium. And then after that, it's only fitting, we're going to do an alumni game and some of his former players. On both sides of the ball, we'll play at 4 and 6. So we're really excited to have a chance to kick off our basketball season by honoring such a legend in our community.
All right, so it's going to be the entire building, not just the court then, going to be honor Seth, right?
Yes, sir. So it'll be the Seth Vining Gymnasium.
Okay. Love that from that standpoint. Again, known Seth since he came to East Hall. He came back in the mid-'70s. He was an assistant coach with Ann Langley after he started baseball with Vic Wilson back there playing baseball back at the old New Holland field there next to the mill when they were playing baseball there. And then he joined the basketball program. He took over from Coach Langley and was successful from day one, winning the state championship my first year in broadcasting, Adam, there at the Cobb Civic Center against Etowah, and future East Hall coach Ron Ely and his Lady Eagles of Etowah there at the Cobb Civic Center in 79, then goes down to Macon, wins it in 80. 81 falls in the state championship game to White County there in the state championship game, and then leaves East Hall and goes to then Gainesville Junior College and leads their women's basketball team with the Lady Lakers there. And then when that program folded, is that then he goes back into the high school ranks, goes to Johnson, was successful there, and then comes back home to East Hall, and then boom, became a boys basketball coach, which surprised us all from that standpoint there at East Hall, and wins the state title in 01, then again in 03. And then left there to that point, but still has been an integral part of the East Hall program. Then, of course, came back and then coached for a short time, about 3 years ago from that standpoint. We had the transition going there. So he's always been a great part of this program.
Well, and the best part about it is, he's always around. Our coaches, Coach Dix reaches out to him all the time. He stops by the school all the time, and he's just an integral member of our community, and he bleeds black and gold. It's just wonderful to see what he pours in. And then when you talk to all of his former players and how much he cares and the stories they have about, the things that he's done for them individually, how he helped them grow, how he shaped them, how he molded them, how, their lives what their lives would have been if it wasn't for him in their life. it's funny, his wife was also a teacher at this,
She was just a coach
she was
too.
just as much.
Yeah.
That's right. So, the family itself, they're just such a great family. And there's so many people in Hall County that have been impacted by what they've been able to do in our community, and it's just so glad that we can have the opportunity to honor the family.
It's great because you mentioned the family, because you see his children and now his grandchildren still here locally and involved, and I think they're going to be outstanding parts of the entire community.
Well, and of course, you mentioned the game on versus North Hall. Of course, that's going to be a little fun because
yes,
his grandkids are going to be playing in North Hall, but of course, obviously, he still bleeds black and gold. So I told him, you better split something there. We got to make sure I'll let him have a little bit of green on, but we still better have some black and gold there.
Did I hear the fact that he's going to help Jarvis in a sense, advisory role, or just as a lay coach or something? He's going to be helping with the program there with Jarvis.
That I'm not sure. I haven't heard that.
I just heard a rumor going that. Okay, says it at North Hall. It's Walker's there, and of course it was a punter football team last night, and so Adams, his son's boy, and so. But yeah, it's going to be fun to see what Seth does. He'll probably sitting beside Clinton Howard there at midcourt there on the front row, and have his black and gold and maybe a touch of green for his grandson there. But talk about it, we're going to be there a week from Tuesday night. Tip things off at 6. First game of the season for you, right?
Yes, sir. The girls, it'll be their third game, but the boys, it'll be their first outside of our scrimmage against Dawson this Tuesday.
Okay, but this first official game, though, right? For the girls?
For the boys. The girls actually will have two. They play Friday at home against Discovery, and then they have a game Saturday. So we can actually start playing this Friday.
Oh, wow. So I didn't know the regular season started this Friday. Okay, so they got Discovery. Who they got on Saturday? That's sort of an invitational tournament type of thing?
Yeah, yes, sir. It's Saturday. They will be playing against. They'll be playing at Banks County versus Raven Gap.
Oh wow! Okay, how about that? That's going to be fun from that standpoint. Tip things off, and to see how the coaching staff is. You got another change in the coaching staff, right?
Oh, we were. I'll be honest. I would argue that our boys coaching staff is one of the best boys coaching staffs out there. We obviously have Coach Dix, who had won the state title, our last state title with us, and has had some success, obviously, when he left us for a little bit. And then Collins Hill, and now coming back and, getting us back on track and moving in that direction. Then we added Coach Wheeler, our girls coach, who obviously he had his success taken with our girls program, and really just a strong coach. And then just recently we were able to add Brian Richardson, who left Fannin County, and him and his wife, who are a great addition to our faculty. Have come in, and so now we have 3 former head coaches, really molding our kids and really pushing them, and we're really excited about this basketball season, honestly.
Oh yeah, and his son's also playing for you, right?
Yes, sir. We have one's going to be in 8th grade for us, and then we have Jordan, who's going to be playing for us this year. So, and he's a great ball player. So we're excited to have added another fine addition who's going to be who can play, who really play. So I'll be honest, we see a lot of excitement with this team coming up.
Oh, yeah, and it's great to see what Brian's done. This is his 3rd school in Hall County that he's been a coach at here in the county. Yes, sir.
You're right. Success at West, and also his time at North, and now with us.
Yep. So, again, the boys tip things off on the 12th. We'll be there. Again, the girls play at 6. Boys will play after that. You'll hear the action right here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll be talking with Adam Rich that time. Maybe get you on at halftime or during the between the ball games at the time, okay? We'll see you.
I'd love to.
All right, buddy. Adam Rich, thank you so much. Hey, by the way, before I let you go, tell everybody about, it was a tough game last night for the football team, but boy, what a season the football team has, especially with senior night last Friday night.
Oh, man. We have a special nucleus. With obviously our quarterback, Jamarcus Harrison, who's, obviously one of our players in the basketball, but he is special. He is one of the, best quarterbacks I've seen out there. Last week he ran for 200 yards, threw for 190 roughly, and scored 5 touchdowns. And even last night, we struggled against Bluff, but again, Jamarcus, kept us in the game as long as we could. And I don't think I've seen his final stats yet, but I want to say he had at least 150 yards rushing and probably about another 150 yards passing. We struggle up front a little bit. We have some guys that really get after it and push, but the size, we just don't have the size right now, and that's where you can see in football where we just struggle a little bit. But man, I'll be honest, it's been a massive improvement this past year. Coach Turner and his staff is really, working hard with our group. And I'll be honest, I'm excited to see what happens next year. We still get Jamarcus back. We get Chasen Jones, one of our top wide receivers. We're going to lose some guys. We're going to hate to see step out that door, but I think we have a good nucleus coming back for next year. And maybe we'll. I'll be honest, we were really close from upsetting Monroe area. That was actually probably the craziest game I've ever seen. We were down 35-0, and I thought it was going to be a running clock. And we had the ball with 8 seconds left, with a chance to win it on our own 13-yard line, I believe. And just, I'll be honest, it was we just missed it. We hit that pass, we win the game, and we're in the playoffs tonight, next week. But unfortunately, we didn't get it.
But tell us about how this region is, and you see when you have a three-way first-place tie, how tough this region is. And it's going to be fun with basketball, too, when you take on a Jefferson and Oconee County and Monroe area at Cherokee Bluff.
Oh, these are great schools, great competition, great coaches. You think about, Jefferson lost last night by 2, but still ended up being region champs. And Oconee, who pulled the upset, still finished third. And Cherokee Bluff had the big win against Oconee County just the week before. So, you're absolutely right. And then you mentioned, in pretty much every sport, it's going to be a battle. But the good news is, we'll point in case, look at our softball team. We did the best we could to get fourth, and it was a battle to get there. But then we made it to the second round of the playoffs just because the competition in our region really helped grow us and get us ready to go, and leads us to a chance to get to the Sweet 16, and then of course we get knocked off by somebody in our region in the Sweet 16. So, I think our region's definitely gonna help us grow, and and the nice thing is I really think in each of our sports we have a chance of at least getting the playoffs and fighting for the ability. And I know if we get in the playoffs, that we have a chance to have a run because our region is tough and helps us grow.
All right, we get ready for basketball with East Hall. Jamarcus and Chase will be on the boys' basketball team, and we'll get a chance to see the Vikings hit the court. And tomorrow, 2 p.m., the new Seth Vining Gymnasium there at East Hall High School. Look forward to talking with you a week from Tuesday, buddy, okay?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, Adam, thanks much. Adam Rich joining us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM. Again, tomorrow at 2 p.m. at East Hall High School, the gymnasium will be named in honor of Seth Vining, the legendary figure here in Hall County sports. Much more for you coming up next on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
Hey, it's Coach Mark Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC Security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number one. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
Siphon Logistics' commitment is to provide you, the customer, with on-time pickup and delivery every time. Members of the Siphon family have been in the transportation business since 1984. The Siphon Logistics transportation professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing maximum flexibility and options to produce the most successful shipping arrangements. Call Siphon Logistics at 770-287-8485 and take a look at their website at siphonlogistics.com.
We're back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Now we're going to talk college sports action here on the Sports Show as we talk with Brandon Shabath, who is the Director of Communications for the Athletic Department at the University of North Georgia in Dahlonega. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I am great, sir. Good to talk with you once again. How things going up in Dahlonega?
Absolutely. They're going great. It's been a while since we last spoke. Took the summer off, obviously, with no sports going on, but a lot of changes up at UNG, as I'm sure you've seen lately, and a lot of exciting stuff. We're underway into soccer season, and postseason is just about to start, and basketball's around the corner. It starts today for the men's side, so it's going really good.
So I guess the first thing was you mentioned how it looks is just the branding of the university.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the brand new NG this year, the diagonal as opposed to the stacked NG, and that's the new athletics logo for everything. And I don't know about you, Mike, if you've been able to get any gear with it yet or
Not
how
yet.
much you've seen it, but it's it's absolutely gorgeous. It grows on you the more you see it different places, and that's been the case the more I've seen it across campus and on social media and on our gear and on players' jerseys and everything. And the more we see it, the more we all like it. For those of us that are at least behind the scenes as far as the athletic department, and it's really fun. And I think it just elevates the status and the look and the level that North Georgia has, not just here in Georgia and in Dahlonega, but in the Southeast region at the D2 level and across the country.
That's the thing about it. As an old St. Bernard here, okay, going back to my days as the Saints of North Georgia. So you're looking at selling the whole image of the university, not only to the local area, but as you say, really to everybody in the Division II level. Yeah, because when you see Alabama's sort of script A, or you see the interlocking UK, or the O of Oregon, or Ohio State, whatever it is, when you see those logos, you know exactly what you're looking at and what school that is. Mm-hmm. And that's because those schools have built an image and a brand based on a simple construct. And that's sort of what we're going for at North Georgia with that logo. So it's the same mission and the same goals, and still a push on the competitive fields to be the best across the country at Division II, just with a new look. And it's more simple, it's more sleek, and it's easy to identify. And so now whenever people see that diagonal NG, they'll know that it's University of North Georgia they're looking at. Looking forward to it. That should be a great Christmas gift for a lot of people there at the University of North Georgia. Talk about for a moment, too, with the new president, Mike Shannon up there now. He really sees the importance of athletics to the entire purpose of the university system and the university there at North Georgia. Absolutely, and President Shannon has been that way since he got here in last July, I believe it was when he first started. Mm-hmm. And at every corner, at every turn, he has held up his end of his promise to make athletics important and valuable. And he's wanted to add a valuable athletic department, and with the help of our athletics director, Mary Rob Plunkett, those two have built this athletic department to be really successful and really impressive in a short amount of time. They took what was already here as an impressive and respectable department and just have built upon that to do some really cool things and make some history in the last year or so with a couple different teams. And now they're looking to do that again. I'm not sure if you saw, but at the end of the summer, President Shannon and a number of other people within our athletic department and at the university announced the opening of the Institute for Peak Performance, which is going to be a new training and regiment center for not only all athletes at UNG, but also all cadets that attend the school as well. It's really a one-of-one facility that is going to be built at UNG that tailors to cadet and athlete needs as far as physical training, but also nutrition and recovery and growth. It's going to be an awesome building that we're going to have there in a couple months, and I think it's going to rival some of the best facilities in Division I. And President Shannon announced that, I believe it was in August, and we're really excited about that. All right, we mentioned from the teams on the field and in the court now, a great season for the soccer teams, right? Absolutely. The men's soccer team finished in second place in the Peach Belt for the second time ever in their 30-year history, 30-plus years. They look really good. They've Anel Lilich, it's his first year as the full-time head coach. He was the interim last year. Mm-hmm. He's got 42 guys on his team. 28 of them were brand new. He kind of completely rebuilt the program in a year, and he's added some extremely talented dudes. And it took them a little while, I think, to learn each other and develop into a cohesive unit, but they've played really well down the stretch, and they've played with a lot of hunger for a greater good. A lot of these guys, you know, they come from different places. They came in with different reasons and goals, and some of it was a little selfish, I think, for some guys. And they're starting to play together now. And they picked up a big win
over Lander earlier this week in a must-win game to try to get second place and get a bye in the Peach Belt tournament. And they scored a late goal with 2 minutes left from their sophomore midfielder, who's a fan favorite, a team favorite, one of their best players, who struggled a little bit this year, and it was his first goal of the season. And he scored late in that game, and it was such a cool moment because you could see how much his team and his guys were happy for him. And you could see how much that win meant to everybody because it wasn't an individual win, it was a team win, and they did something as a team. And I'm really excited to see where they take that in the postseason through the Peach Belt tournament and hopefully the NCAA tournament.
Oh,
and on the women's side, they suffered a tough loss against Georgia Southwestern, the first time in program history they lost to the Hurricanes a couple weeks ago. And they bounced back and went to Columbus State and gave the Cougars, who are the number 2 team in the country, their toughest battle yet. Columbus State's offense is unbelievably talented and is the best in the country statistically in a number of categories. And UNG held them to a 1-0 game, only 14 shots and 5 on goal, and the one goal was a questionable no call. Looked like the ball went out of bounds, and some of the Nighthawk players stopped, and there was no call, and Columbus State was able to score. But they bounced back from that and beat the number 9 team in the country in Lenore-Rhine earlier this week, and that's the third highest ranked win in the last decade, I believe, for UNG. So they closed it on a good note. They've got one more game against Lander coming up on Monday at 6 o'clock in Dahlonega. That'll conclude the regular season, but they've already secured second place in the Peach Belt, and they'll host a PBC postseason game, so that's going to be exciting.
Well, super. That sounds great. So, yeah, basketball's here, right?
Absolutely. Today, 8 p.m., the men's team, who start the year as the preseason number 9 team in the country, they're down in Lakeland, Florida at a really cool event, the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic, which every year is just loaded with powerhouse teams, the best teams in the country. When you look back at it every single year, teams that were in the Elite Eight, most of them or a bunch of them are in the Small College Basketball Classic. And that's the case this year. 4 teams from the Elite Eight last year, including UNG, Nova Southeastern, Gannon, and the national champion, Minnesota State, are at this event this year.
Wow.
And UNG starts tonight against St. Thomas Aquinas, and then tomorrow gets to play the defending national champions in Minnesota State. So a very big weekend for UNG men's basketball. And I've gotten to see them in a couple scrimmages and a couple practices, and obviously just around campus, and I'm just really excited to see them take the floor and finally get this highly anticipated season underway.
So how different is the team this year?
It's a little different, obviously, because Frank Champion's gone. They lost Greg Billups, Eric Jones, Case Roach, 4 seniors who did not have small roles on the team, played big parts at some point last season. And obviously Frank Champion, statistically, when you look at the record book, is probably the greatest player in program history.
Yep.
So when you lose a guy like him, obviously things are going to change. But Dan Evans talked about it last year a bunch, and we saw it come to fruition at the end of the season. He kept talking about how deep they are and how good of a team they are. And we saw guys like Sutton Smith and Case Roach and Colin Turner and Giancarlo Bastianoni step up, guys who maybe had smaller roles at the start of the year, and they stepped up late down the stretch. So a lot of those guys are still back. They bring in some pretty impressive freshmen and some transfers as well. I think it's going to be a really good team this year. A.J. White, obviously, who's preseason all-conference and was national or NABC all-district last year, he's back. He just scored 1,000 points in their final game last season, so he's got his sights set pretty high this year. And I think as a whole, the team feels some hunger and like there's some unfinished business from last year, not only because they didn't make it further than the Elite Eight. Obviously, they wanted to do that. But Dan talked about it in an interview I just did with him on our new show called The Hawk's Nest, where they didn't win the Peach Belt regular season, and they still haven't done that.
Right.
So they won the tournament for the first time, and obviously the Southeast Regional, but they want to win a regular season crown. And, they had a chance at the end, and they didn't play well enough in the final 3 games to do it, and they still got that on their mind as well. So they certainly have chips on their shoulders and dates on their calendar circled, and I'm just glad that we finally got basketball back.
So are the women healthy?
Caroline Martin is back this year, All-American from 2 years ago. She missed all of last season with an injury. She's back, and I know everybody internally is very excited about that. She still looks as impressive as she was before. Daisha Cannon, a former player last year who was hurt, played a little bit at the start of the year, but Coach Burson calls Daisha, one of their most versatile players. She's on her way back this year. She's slowly getting more and more into the mix, more contact drills, more speed. And then they added some impressive freshmen as well. Avery Jones, I think, is a name people are going to get used to pretty quickly. She's a local kid from Lumpkin County. And Emily Truschel, all-conference first team last year, preseason this year. She's back. Kendall Eminer, 6'2" big that they have down low, who is just an impressive kid, works real hard. She's back this year. They added a transfer from Georgia College in Jalea Storr, who's had an impressive career up until now, who can definitely add to their ability. Carly Fahey's back. Livy Blackstock. I could go through the whole team. They've got a lot of players. They return 89% of their scoring, Mike. So
that helps.
That plus Daisha Cannon for a full season, plus Caroline Martin for a full season. If everybody stays healthy, I think this team has a chance to really make some waves nationally.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about that. Talking to Brendan Shabath, who is the Director of Communications for the Athletic Department at the University of North Georgia. Looking forward to it, Brendan. We'll have you again on here soon, okay?
Yeah, sounds good, Mike. Thanks for calling.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Have a great day. And so we go Nighthawks from that standpoint. You can go to their website, ungathletics.com. You can watch their action there on the Nighthawks Sports Network there on their website at ungathletics.com. We got much more for you to wrap things up here on this Saturday morning on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
And we're back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM as we bring you local sports in the high school, college, and the pro scene. We're going to go now to talk to the phone to Lee Coleman, the head coach of the Lakeview Academy Lions, as they're going to the state playoffs next Friday, going on the road to Albany down in South Georgia to take on Deerfield Windsor. Hey, Lee, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm blessed. How about you?
Blessed, doing blessed.
I just had the night off last night. What'd you do?
Well, I went to the East Hall Cherokee Bluff game.
All right. Oh, East Hall alum. I can see that. Way to go.
Yes, sir. I haven't seen them this year, and I'm still the alma mater and just wanted to go see. And then Cherokee Bluff been doing phenomenal this year, so I just wanted to get eyes on another team that's really, really good. So, and I like what I saw.
Well, you and Cherokee Bluff, the best record in the county at 9-1 this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So with that, explain to everybody what's going on now with the GIAA. Is that with the power rankings and what happened, you finished number 2 in your district. You're the only AAA school in your district. You followed to Bethlehem Christian, the only game you lost this season. They're in the state playoffs, of course, in the Class Quad A state playoffs. You're in AAA, but you got to go on the road as a number 5 seed. How's that work out?
I'm still trying to grasp it, figure it out, and when I keep trying to figure it out, my head keeps spinning because I just have no idea what this scenario is and what the case is and how we're number 5 at 9-1. But, I don't dwell on it. It's more motivation for my guys to tell them, hey, guys, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're not respected. You're up north, and they don't see many teams up north. It is a Middle Georgia, South Georgia conference, and you just got to deal with it and go win and prove people wrong. Whether we go on the road, we stay at home. At the end of the day, to be the best, you have to beat the best, and our focus is not where we at, we just got to take it one game at a time and go win.
All right, so you're playing Deerfield Windsor. What kind of team do they have?
Deerfield, the sad part about Deerfield, they had an argument as well. They're 7-3. They're a solid team. Quarterback has thrown for 2,000 yards, 2,100 yards. Running back has rushed for 1,200 yards. So got a receiver that's about a 1,000-yard receiver. So they are well balanced and put up yards. Physical football team. They play hard, and they have beaten the number 1 team and the number 2 team in AAA, and they're still sitting at 4. And the number 2 team has lost 3 games now, and they beat them. And then the number 2 team, the number 1 team has lost 2 games, and they beat the number 1 team, and they're sitting at 4. So I'm not sure how these rankings work.
I'm with you from that standpoint. So the top teams played last night in those makeup games?
So the number 2 team played last night in the makeup game, and they lost.
And who was that?
The unfortunate part, Valwood. So Valwood has been number 1 by far.
Yeah, I thought they were still number 1. They're number 2 now?
They're number 2, yeah.
Wow.
So Valwood lost their quarterback 3 weeks ago when they were playing Deerfield Windsor.
Oh, wow.
He got hurt in the third quarter, broke his ankle.
Ah.
And so since then, they won the following week, but then they just lost last night. So that puts them at 3 losses. And our final rankings actually come out tomorrow because the human element comes in. So I still think we're playing Deerfield, and we're going to be at Deerfield. I'm not sure.
Are you telling me things might change, Lee?
People think that. I don't see it.
Okay. All right, if you do, like I told you before, I'll say it on the air here. If you play at home next Friday night, we're going to be there, okay?
We had some people thought that. I'm like, I don't see it whatsoever.
All right, so so the way the tournament works out, there's 8 teams in the GIAA state playoffs and AAA. Number 4 and 5, would you play number 1 the following week?
Yep. Number 4, number 5 plays number 1 the following week.
And who's that now since it's not Valwood?
Right now it's Westfield.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And Westfield has a tough matchup with a John Milledge team that's 2-8, but they got their quarterback back. So now they can do multiple things on offense instead of being one-dimensional. They can throw the ball now.
So you're telling me John Milledge made the tournament as the number 8 team?
They made the tournament as the number. Because what happened is when they got their quarterback back, they played Tatnall Square really, really close and lost by like 10, and then they beat Mount DeSales. And I talked to the Piedmont Academy, who was 7-3. He said, Coach, when they beat Mount DeSales, my team couldn't beat Mount DeSales, so he understood.
Wow, how about that? That's going to be a loaded tournament then, won't it?
It's going to be a loaded tournament from top to bottom.
All right, so right now, unless things change, next Friday night in Albany against Deerfield Windsor.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Have a good one next week. We'll talk, okay?
Thank you, sir. Likewise.
Congratulations. That is Coach Lee Coleman, the most successful program in Lakeview Academy history, going on the road. They'll play next Friday night down in Albany against Deerfield Windsor. Up next, we'll wrap things up here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
North Hall. This is Chris Kinsey with Millie's Drapery and Decorating, and we would like to thank the North Hall community for their continued support. Since 1968, my family has provided the area with beautiful custom drapery, bedding, upholstery, blinds, shades, and more. If you would like some help with your interior design project, give us a call and we'll schedule one of our talented designers to give you an in-home consultation and estimate for your project. Call us at 770-532-3819.
And thanks, everyone, this morning joining us on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks to everyone we talked to with Dave Bishop, also to Brendan Shabat, to Adam Rich, to Lee Coleman. Thank you for joining us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, and thank you for being with us each week. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. You'll get a chance to see me work behind the scenes here as we talk to all the different people that make local sports possible here at 97.5 Glory FM. Our next broadcast of local sports comes up this afternoon, as we'll bring you college football with Georgia State going up against UConn, starting at 12:30 with a Panther pregame show. Then at 1 o'clock kickoff, a college football with Georgia State here on 97.5 Glory FM. Then we bring you high school basketball starting a week from Tuesday on November the 12th with North Hall and East Hall on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks for joining us on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.